Matt McIntosh, thanks so much for sending this in. I appreciate it. And this week's been a little bit crazy when it comes to training. So we opened up this week from for our state. So it's been a little bit busy. So apologize getting this to you a little bit later. We're gonna get right into it. So into that back leg squat, you're about right before you go forward. You're about 103 degrees, which is good. Not bad. I think what you could improve on is getting and sitting more with your butt and less with your knee. You can see where your knee goes forward. I want you to sit more with your hip as opposed to your knee. So there's power of the back leg. I think that's something you could work on as far as the online portion. There's some weaknesses, when it comes to power of the back leg. So I think you can work on those. I think those are a drill that you could work on. Right now, you have a little bit of a crossed up front leg, and what that means is sometimes people actually throw harder crossed up a little bit. So I'm just pointing this out. If you wanted to come back into this position and get here, it would minimize your cross, and that might speed up your hips. Sometimes when I do that with players, the velocity goes down, so I leave it alone. So you're gonna have to play with that. So let's look at where your knee is when you plant. This is internally rotated front knee. Your knee doesn't move much, but it does put a lot of stress on that knee, I will tell you. So, maybe if we could move over 2 or 3 inches this way, just to minimize that knee. I don't want that knee to blow out. Your angle at which you hit your front knee. So I don't think you have an issue. Internally rotated front knee, I think it's fine. And I think the more you move this way, maybe 3 or 4 inches to reduce your cross, I think you're going to find that your knee might work a little bit better than it is. And the angle at which your front knee hits is actually pretty good. It's quite high. So, and it comes back almost straight-legged. So that's fabulous. Let's look at this angle. I needed a side view, but just take this with a grain of salt. This is a little bit of a frontal view, about 93 degrees. I think this is something that you could drive a little bit further out. And all this angle means is the longer you can push, the further you're going to jump, and the further you're going to jump, the harder you're going to throw. So if you could travel, being crossed up might be the reason why your leg stops instead of continuing to drive forward. But 93 degrees it's okay. I need it to be about 110 degrees. Part of that might be the angle at which the video is taken. So take that with a grain of salt. So double angle at foot strike, stride angle, that's something that I want you to work on. Okay, this brings us into our posture at ball release. There's our posture. Every person's different. That would be an A posture. This would be a B posture. This would be a C posture. I think you're more of an A posture, but I will tell you that having your chest go forward and then having to come all the way back is really, you're fighting against your posture. Your true posture is what your posture is at release point. And so what we need to do is set you up with your spine. Your spine needs to mirror that same spine when you throw. And so if you think of it as like a helicopter, like the shaft, and we have your two arms coming out of the helicopter, if this axis changes from here to here, then that's going to throw off the rotation around the axis. It's not going to move as fast. And so I want you to work on that posture. So what I recommend is when you're here, bring your leg up to yourself and do not fall like you are. I want you to stay back as much as you can. Now, in order to get the same feeling as what you feel when you go forward, I want you to rotate your head back towards your back foot. But the direction is that way, so you can keep your spine correct and not forward. So I don't want you to go forward. I want you to go backwards that way. Okay? So posture, that might be a huge thing that you fix, and all of a sudden you start throwing 2 or 3, 4 miles an hour harder just with that, just because you can rotate that much better. 80% of the motion is rotational, and if that's throwing your rotation off, then you might get 10% back. I don't know. So that's fabulous. So that is good. Okay, so release point. We're going to look at release point. Start right around here. I can't really see the window right there. But I think you're out past your front foot, which it looks pretty good. The further your chest can get out, the harder you're going to throw. Right here. So I think the release point's pretty good. I think you're getting out in front past your front foot. That's good. So the launch is not bad. Okay, let's get into stacking. A little bit. We talked about it a little bit. You can see how you're leading with your back knee and not with your hip. I want you to sink more into your hip, less with your knee, and stay back. I want your upper body to stay back in that position for a longer period of time, and that's going to help you rotate way better. So stacking is definitely something that I think you need to improve on, and that's something that you can kind of take to the bank. I think stacking is going to be where, and your posture change is going to be where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. All right, so stacking, definitely upper body and lower body needs some work. Those drills, like I said, just work the drills, try to get them as close to what is demonstrated as possible, and we should see some improvements along with the bands and the weighted balls as far as arm care goes. All right, so that's stacking. Now let's look at front glove. Front glove is actually pretty good. Right here, your chest is down, and you really have to fight to get your chest back up. So you can see this elbow go down, and I want to see if we can get your posture to get up a little bit. It's already up. I want your direction of your front shoulder to go this way, a little bit higher. So that scat pinch, that shoulder blade pinches instead of it pulling down. That's going to help you rotate. Same with the posture. So I think front glove has an issue for sure. All right, I'm going to look at high elbow here. High elbow, I'm going to measure off your shoulder up to your elbow. I think you have a little bit of an elevated distal humerus, which is an elevated elbow. I think part of that has to do with your front leg crossing and your posture change. And your elbow is just lagging too much, and it's coming up. So I think if you reduce that front knee, if you change that chest posture and stack better, and change that front glove, I think that helps. So that high elbow drills for the high elbow are really going to help bring that down and just make your motion a little bit quicker. Your chest could be that much faster if we get that stuff on time. What else? Chest. going to get chest extension. Right here, bear with me because it's not quite the angle. About 45 degrees. If I came from the side, it'd be about 40, which is good. I think it's good. Your chest extension, I think you have to be really good at that chest extension because you're fighting across your body and also you're fighting across your posture. So that's pretty good, chest extension wise. So happy with that. And this is what we call an arm fly out. So right here, your arm lays back, and as you throw, the arm comes out. It's about 76 degrees. What that does is, now I'm not telling you exactly where you need to be, but I want to shore this up and make it somewhere in the middle. I mean, I want to reduce this from there to here, because what happens is the hand's going to come through a lot faster. The more you can push through that wrist, and your elbow's going to bend, and you're going to rotate through that a lot faster. And so hand fly out is definitely something I want you to work on as well. It's on our website as well. So if you can work on those things, I think as a recap, power to the back leg, making sure that hip goes here, the angle at which you plant, your angle at foot strike, you're crossed up a little bit. I think that has an issue. Posture change, early, stacking, front glove. I think that has a lot to do with the crossing the front leg and the posture change. High elbow and arm fly out. It seems like a daunting task. Just do one thing at a time. Start with lower body weaknesses first and then move on up to the upper body. You could even do 2-3 days a week and switch it from lower body one day, upper body the next day, and just alternate them so you can get both of them work. Thanks so much for sending the stuff in, and please let me know how I can help you. Talk to you soon.